What's up guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Homegrown Career Mode. This is episode number 28, and we start today's episode off with a little bit of an interesting news article here that I just had to point out and show you to start today's episode off. It says, his subs choice pays off, that's the headline, and there's one thing that frustrates me about the news articles in this game, and that is that they are so arbitrary sometimes, especially when you actually read the article. After many fans and managers across the league doubted his subs choice in Bale, they were all left red-faced after his recent performances. Really? Many fans and managers doubted my choice to bring back Gareth Bale from Real Madrid to Southampton, a Europa League side, for £70 million. Really? Many doubters, as if that was going to be a bad deal for us. And that is one of the really frustrating parts about career mode, when you realise that, yeah, they've got absolutely no care whatsoever for opening up the game to make it more realistic in that sense. It really detaches your immersion and the immersive feel when you read something like that, because it makes no sense. You know, it makes absolutely no sense. It's an absolute bargain. What we've done with Gareth Bale is one of the steals of the century. Yeah, apparently fans and managers were doubting the deal. Are you serious? It's absolutely ridiculous. But regardless, for the first game of today's episode, we'll take on Brighton and Hove Albion away at the Amex Stadium, coming on the back of our goalless draw in Norway against Rosenborg in the third game of the Europa League group stage. And just real briefly on Brighton and Hove Albion as well, I've got to say, Chris Hughton has not got the credit he deserves for the Seagulls. I really believe he's been criminally underlooked with the achievements he's had with Brighton and Hove Albion. First, getting them up to the Premier League for the first time in the club's history, and secondly, for them surviving last year, you know, with games to spare. And this season have started off really well too, sitting in mid-table. You know, many people, myself included, said last year when it came up, they'd be going straight back down again. But instead, they've been absolutely fantastic. And Chris Hughton, I've always rated Hughton as a manager. I feel it was unfairly sat by Newcastle many years ago now. He's always been underlooked, I should say overlooked, as a manager in my opinion. And Hughton's done a great job with Brighton, and it's great to see them doing so well as well. But first game was against Brighton anyway, and the first chance fell to Brighton, but Cedric made an incredible save on the one-on-one there to keep the score scoreless, as Brighton was certain to go in front early from the directly from the corner, resulting in the save. Wallace heads at home and Brighton going in front. That's not the first time that's happened this season or in the series, where our goalkeeper has made a fantastic save. It goes behind for a corner, and then directly after that, our opponent score. It's Wallace with the goal. The centre-back heads at home, and sadly the Seagulls do take the lead. And poor old Cedric, 17 years old, one of the saves of the season. The reflexes there, but there's nothing you can do about that. A wonderful looping header into the top corner. Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain on the line though, with lead in his boots. I swear, I've noticed that in this year's FIFA a lot, that the players on the line, they may as well not even be there because they don't jump. And sometimes, if you watch my CNC save, you'd have seen it, they oftentimes get out of the way of the ball and let it go in. So 1-0 to Brighton, they're in front, nice header there, and it's 1-0 to the Seagulls. But we could have got back on level terms here just for the break though, and look at this sort of sums up Theo Walcott's starts the season for us. Bale sends him through, he's about to go through one-on-one, but he doesn't utilise his pace, he gets caught up and then shrugged to the ground so easily. It's not a foul, it's just a body-to-body collision, and Walcott's so weak, tumbles, and that's how the first half ends. So 1-0, and a sign of times for Theo Walcott, still yet to get off the mark this season for us, and yet to find the back of net. But after the restart, just a few minutes after kickoff, we get ourselves back on level terms, and what a surprise, the man that would get the goal was the man that many fans and managers across the league were doubting as a good signing for Southampton. Gareth Bale doing it once again, the former Real Madrid and Spurs man, with the header from the corner, making it 1-1. He scored a couple of goals with his head this season, showing it's not all about that wonderful left foot. Ward-Prowse whips it in, Bale wins it in the near post and makes it 1-1. I think it was the last episode, or maybe the episode before that, where I talked about how scoring goals from corners has been toned down since the original release of the game. That is true, but both goals in this game coming from corners, and it was 1-1 to got back on no returns. But Brighton almost won it right to left though. Solly March going for goal, and thankfully the shot ripples into the side netting and goes the wrong side of the post. It was one of those moments when the ball hits the net and you don't realise that it's not gone in. At the time I thought, it's gone in near post, but thankfully it did go wide of the post and behind for a goal kick, and that was how the game finished. Final score, Brighton 1, Southampton 1. Not a bad result there against a decent Brighton side. We'll certainly take that result. It's not a bad point away from home at the Amex, and yeah, we'll take the draw. It's back-to-back games about a win, but not a bad result in the grand scheme of things, and we'll take the point. But following that, some player training, and as you can see, we've given one of Archie Cook's deals to Sam Lewis, the centre forward who of course scored against was it Olympiacos or no, Admiral Rabaka in the Europa League Group Open. He's now getting a drill, 57 overall centre forward, but he's already scored 1 goal this season. I like the look of the kid, and yeah, hopefully we're going to get his potential, his overall up to 60. I'll check his potential once that is done. And also, for the first time since we sent the scouts out, Wilson, Mancini and Hintermeyer, they've come back and gave us our first batch of scouting from England, Scotland and Northern Ireland as well. Sadly, not the best to start, so I do find that quite often in Korean as well. When you send your scouts out, the first month is normally pretty poor, and that's what happened here as well. A couple of players from Scotland look pretty poor, so we rejected those. The only one that looks okay is Aidan Gray, but he might not be too great. We promoted, we gave a youth contract to 1 English player, and I think we rejected everyone from Northern Ireland or continued the scouting. So still waiting for the next Barry Hamilton or Brian Donnelly to appear. From the first month of scouting, nothing worth reporting really. And I said before, I really wish in Korea there was a way you could automatically reject certain players if they didn't have a set potential or overall rating, because it will make it so much easier and more convenient. I'm not saying you get more reports in, but just to automatically reject them, because it just gets rid of the dross and you don't have to sort yourself through some of the worst players you can possibly get. When you've got players with like a 30 to 45 overall range and 40 to 60 potential, you're never going to promote them and give them a youth contract, even if you're managing a really lower league side. So it would be so much more convenient and so much more easier really. Who knows? Maybe a feature for a new game, who knows? But also, Tyreek Johnson is going to lead the club as well. We tried to sell this guy on deadline day. And just for that as well, sadly turned down all the moves. However, he is going to join FC Sion for $500,000 in January, and that's totally fine with me. We've got enough wide midfielders here anyway, and he's out of contract in the summer, and he's going to get any game time, so I'm fine with that. And for the second and final game of today's episode, how about this for a fixture? Here at St Mary's, back home after the game against Brighton, and we will take on Crystal Palace, who right now, as you would have seen by the league table, are top. They're top of the table, just 1 defeat to start the season off. They've been absolutely fantastic, and Roy Hodgson right now has got the Eagles high flying here in the Premier League. So a big game between 2 informed sides who will come out on top on the South Coast. Well, the first chance fell just 5 minutes in as he passed out from the back. Cook on the ball, strides forward and plays it into Ethan Collins, the academy graduates link up here. Collins takes over the halfway line. Nice ball roll to find Alana. It's a great through ball into Gareth Bale. He rolls it to Gallagher. Nice little build up, but James Ward-Prowse just couldn't hit the target as he fires it wide at the post. So a nice quick attack there, built from the back, but sadly couldn't hit the target, still 0-0. In the 11th minute, another chance for the Saints as we had a flying start to the game. James Ward-Prowse once again looking the most dangerous player on the pitch. His header well saved by Gaeta and turned behind for a corner, and from that corner he looked into the centre looking for Jeremy Martin, and it was Schneider who won the header but headed it just over the bar. So Ward-Prowse pulling the strings in the first half, looking really dangerous, but it was still goals. We scorned our early opportunities. But 33 minutes in, another chance for the Saints. Sam Gallagher gets in behind Mamadou Sakho, and look at this for a finish by Gallagher. Seriously, no wonder he's got his head in his hands. What on earth was that? The shot almost went out for a throw in there. I know it was a tight angle, but either way, a terrible attempt from Gallagher as it was still goalless. But from the goalkeeper makes amends. He's putting the pressure on. He's really hammering down Palace. He forces Elizondo into a mistake. Martin wins it back, finds Gareth Bale, and Gareth says to Sam, "That's how you finish from a tight angle, son." Puts it past Gaeta and into the back of the net, and it was the hustle from Sam Gallagher that helped us win the ball back. And funnily enough, this is so like what happened last season away at Selhurst Park. Sam Gallagher hustling from a goal kick, and that resulted in our first goal against Palace last year. It happens this season as well. Putting the press on, he forced him into a mistake. We win it back, and it's Bale to finish to make it 1-0. So a deserved lead at the break. We were playing really, really well. But football is a game of 2 halves. That is the cliche. In the second half, Crystal Palace really came out of the blocks flying after a terrible first half. Roy Hodgson sent it back out onto the pitch with a proverbial rocket on the backside, and what a chance early just after the hour mark. Danny Welbeck with a great piece of skill smacks the ball off the woodwork, but on hands turning the rebound is Rodriguez. He scored against us last year for Crystal Palace. He finds the equalising goal, couldn't really miss with Cedric on the floor, and runs all the way to Roy Hodgson, who right now is the mastermind as to why Crystal Palace are top of the table. They're in great form, they're leading the league, and you can see they're a close-knit together bunch. They really do look the real deal, and in form to start the season off, and justifyingly so. They put us under pressure, we just couldn't get the ball clear. Welbeck's brilliant technique was fantastic there, hit the post but sadly couldn't escape for a second time. Rodriguez turns in the rebound and makes it 1-1, and just 5 minutes later another chance for Crystal Palace as they came through once again. Their passing was so accurate we couldn't stop them, and Rodriguez gets his second goal of the game in 5 minutes and single-handedly turns the game on its head. We were leading just past the hour by a 0-0. We were plain sailing at half-time, looking so comfortable, but in the second half Roy Hodgson, clearly the mastermind, makes the changes. Crystal Palace get in front, and it's Southampton 1, Crystal Palace 2, and that was how the game finished as well. Final score at St Mary's, Southampton 1, Crystal Palace 2, and the Eagles continue to fly high as they notch up yet another win and extend their gap at the top of the table. A big blow here at St Mary's. It's now no wins in our last 3 games. A very disappointing result, and again, we should have at least got a point in this game. What a chance we had in the first half, only taking 1. In the end, that is what cost us. Rodriguez's brace in just 5 minutes gives Crystal Palace the win as they get the 3 points. You'll see by the league table right now. I mean, honestly, they can't be stopped. Crystal Palace this season, I mean, it's very early days, don't get me wrong, but at this rate, Crystal Palace this season could be on for a Leicester City 2015-2016 season if they can continue this good form for the duration of the campaign. Big ask, yes, but that was a fantastic second half display and a really, really big win. But that went into today's episode of the Homegrown Career Mode, guys. So a big thank you for watching. I really hope you have enjoyed it. And if you did enjoy today's episode, then please do drop a like. Much love. Have a fantastic day. Enjoy the Champions League football tonight. And I'll see you for the next episode of the Homegrown Career Mode very soon. Bye.